Together with American songwriter, we had the opportunity to talk to the Elwins.
Adam was able to talk to the Elwins over the phone, and they have a brand new song out called Take Me All the Way.
Make sure to check out our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Bringing It Backwards and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bringing Back Pod.
We'd appreciate your support if you follow and subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
We're Bringing It Backwards with the Elwins.
Hey, is this Adam?
This is Adam. How's it going?
Hey, great, man. How are you doing?
Good. Well, thanks for doing this. I'm not sure how familiar you are with our podcast, but we talk about your journey in music and how you got to where you are today, and you joining you starting or joining with the Elwins and that whole journey.
Oh, sweet. I love it.
Cool. Well, Francesco, where'd you grow up? Are you in Ontario?
Yeah. I grew up just north of Toronto, like half an hour, in a small town called Newmarket.
Okay. Tell me about that. Is there venues and stuff there to play? Were you getting out and seeing music out there?
There's not a ton of venues. When I was in high school, there was really only like one venue that was also like the place where bands would practice. But there was a music scene that was very nice. There just wasn't a ton of places to play. But in some ways it was nice because I feel like it kind of forced you to maybe look more so towards Toronto if you really wanted to start playing some more.
Sure, yeah. And what was the first instrument you learned how to play?
I took piano lessons when I was really young, but I think like most people who take piano lessons when they're really young, it didn't really stick.
Sure. Was it like a thing your parents wanted you to do or something?
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, bless my parents, they were just trying to find something that I was interested in.
Sure.
So like there was a whole laundry list, but none of them really stuck for a while. But so yeah, piano lessons was part of that. I also took fencing lessons at one point, which was very funny looking back.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was pretty young too, which was also sick. They would just give you swords and be like, yeah, run at the people on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And have a sword fight.
That's funny. I know Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden is like huge into fencing.
Oh, really?
So random. Yeah. He's like it's like his like passion.
Finally, he and I have something in common.
Right?
But yeah, it wasn't until probably like grade 8 or something where I started taking up guitar. And that's when I really started getting into music.
Cool. What were the first like artists and stuff you were exposed to growing up? Like what were you listening to?
Well, before I started guitar, I feel like it was mostly just music my parents would listen to that I would hear. Mm-hmm. Like my dad was a Frank Sinatra fan, so I mean, My Way was a huge jam for me growing up. I was like, yeah, that's a cool song. But then once I started getting into like songwriting, it was really like the Beatles and the Beach Boys that were kind of like the big ones that I really dug.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And from there, when you started, you said it changed when you started playing guitar. Was that what were you listening to when you picked up playing guitar?
At first, it was leaning a bit in the kind of like Kiss direction, maybe a bit harder. I mean, no disrespect to Kiss, but yeah, so kind of like I also thought "Rock You Like a Hurricane" was a freaking jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of harder at first. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, those aren't that hard. I'm sure there's some people rolling their eyes at that, but yeah, then it kind of got more Beatlesy.
Oh, cool.
If you will.
Yeah. Nice. So you picked up playing guitar. Were you writing songs and stuff fairly early, or like or did you try to just learn like other people's songs? What was your attack on the guitar?
I feel like once I realized that I didn't think I was going to be like a crazy shredder, I was like, it'd probably be good to learn how to write songs. Okay. For some reason, those were like the two directions in my mind. I was like, I could either be a great lead guitar player And then once that wasn't an option, I was like, I better learn some other skill like songwriting.
So then you started writing your own music?
Yeah.
Nice. When did you start?
Which I love.
You do? Did you still write in the Elwins to this day?
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting. Every song's different, but yeah, some songs our other singer Matt will write. Some songs I'll write, but they're all very collaborative. Like even if we're the ones who have like the initial idea, we'll all kind of like jam it and mess around with it together as a band.
Oh, cool. Nice. Did you start with the Elwins, or they had a member before that was playing bass? Is that what you said?
They started as a two-piece with just Matthew and Travis.
Okay.
Just guitar, vocals, and drums. And then Feurd joined a little later. And then I had heard about them because they were from the Newmarket area, and they're a few years older than me.
Okay.
So I had heard their first EP and first record, and me and my friends were really into it. And then they had a guy playing with them who quit. So then I sent them a message to see if they were having auditions for a bass player, and they were like, yeah. So then I went and tried out, and then they had a tour that was leaving or starting the next week.
Uh-huh.
So I basically finished high school, went to like my after prom thing or whatever, and then that Monday we went on tour.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a straight out of high school thing.
Whoa. Well, I want to, before we get into Elwins, that's rad. But were you playing in bands in high school and stuff? You said you started playing after you started playing guitar and writing songs. Did you start jamming with people before you started playing with the Elwins?
Yeah. Once I was in high school, when I realized how many other people played guitar as well, I was like, oh, I should probably learn how to play a little bit of bass also. Just because, guitar gets real popular.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
So I kind of picked up a little bit of bass, and then I was jamming with some people on bass. And then on my mom's side of the family, everybody's pretty musical. So then I started a band with two of my cousins who played drums and keyboards, and I was on guitar, and then a buddy of mine played bass. So yeah, in high school, it was kind of like a couple different bands here and there.
Oh, cool. So you have other people, other musicians in your family?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Did you get to see any of them performing like growing up, or were they like around your same age? You said it was your mom's side of the family. I'm not sure if there's.
They weren't in bands, but they started playing music before me. So like there were like drum recitals or whatever. And when I would go over, I'd hear them playing and stuff like that. And they'd show me what they were learning and all that. And then my grandfather on that side, he played the accordion.
Cool.
So he would play accordion for all of us growing up. But there was always kind of like music on that side of the family, which I think also kind of was another maybe factor of why I wanted to get into it, I think.
Yeah. So you remember watching your grandfather play accordion?
Yeah, it was sick. And then a couple years ago, before he passed, he gave me the accordion, which I still have. And
wow.
I really like it. It's
Do you know how to play it? Or are you going to learn how to play it?
I definitely want to learn how to play it. Right now, I just kind of goof around on it, and I try my best. But I definitely want to spend some more time with it someday.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess now's kind of the perfect time. I mean,
well, everyone's
come
stuck.
out of this isolation with some sort of skill.
Yeah, you can come out and you can have an accordion in another in an Elwins song.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was the first show you ever saw, or like concert? Do you remember?
Oh wow. Well, I don't know if this would count as a concert, but my mom took me and my best friend growing up to see Barney the Dinosaur when I was really young.
Oh, no way. That's
so
funny.
That slapped. But I think like the first like concert I went to was Rush.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Which was kind of sweet because I hadn't planned on going, but a friend of mine called me and he said, "Hey, I was supposed to go see Rush with my dad tonight, but we got in a huge fight. So now he won't go see Rush with me." Which I thought was a bit of a funny punishment.
Yeah.
Be like,
well, I'm not going to go. You're
now you get to pick a friend to go.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But I wasn't complaining. It was a great show.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the dad opted out because he was fighting with his kid?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at least you got to see Neil Peart and stuff live. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That ruled.
Yeah. That's funny. Right on. So you said you had seen the Elwins perform. Did you ever? You said you're a fan of theirs when you were in high school, and then when you finished, you got to join the band, which is rad. So tell me about like discovering them as a band, and that must have been a pretty cool experience to join with them later.
Yeah, it was sweet. I was, I guess, out of my friend group in high school, I was a bit late to the game. I remember a few of my friends being like, "Hey, the Elwins are playing a show. Do you want to come?" And I would always kind of be like, "I'm okay." I guess I was a little bit lazy or something. But then I started listening to the music, and I thought it was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them play an all ages show in Newmarket, and then we wanted to go see them play the release show for the first record, but we were underage at the time, so we couldn't go.
Oh, okay.
But it all worked out.
Yeah, totally. So then you said you messaged them. How did you message them? How did you just heard, like, you just got wind that their bass player left? Is that kind of what happened? Like, tell me the story of how you contacted them and you got asked to join their band.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I feel like near the end of high school, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I knew I wanted to pursue music, and I knew I liked writing songs and playing in bands, but that also didn't really seem like something you'd go to school for. So I was kind of like not 100% sure what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard that the old bass player Chris had left the band, and my friend Luke was like, "You should message them and see if they're auditioning people." So I just sent them a Facebook message to the Facebook page.
Wow.
And I said, "Hey, are you guys auditioning bass players?" And Matt was the one who responded. And I don't think I said in my message that I was a bass player. We had met before, but I didn't mention it or anything.
Yeah.
So Matt just responded like, "Yeah, do you know anybody?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I could maybe try." So yeah, then we just met up. I knew the songs, or I was familiar with the songs, and I kind of learned the bass parts. Then I went over and we jammed, and they were like, "Yeah, do you want to come on tour?" And I was like, "Sure."
Wow.
And then throughout that summer, we played a few more gigs, and then by the end of the summer, they asked me if I'd want to join.
Cool. So you were just kind of going to fill in at first and just do the tour with them, and then eventually they just asked you to play with them full time?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So they only had out the first record, and I Thank You, and then that first self-titled EP? Yeah. And how did your family react to you saying, like, you finish high school and then you're like, I'm going to go on tour? Were they kind of shocked by that? Like, how did that conversation go down?
They overall, like, my parents have been crazy supportive, so they were pretty chill.
Okay.
I think they were about to leave on a trip. They were celebrating their wedding anniversary, so they were going to be gone for a while. So I was going to be gone while they were going to be gone. So it's not like they would have like much of a chance to stay in touch, really, because they were in Europe.
Okay.
And we were just traveling all over Canada. And at the time, I think I still had like a Motorola Razr, so it wasn't like social media was like a thing.
Right.
So yeah, we weren't in touch much, but I remember when I was talking to them about it, I think my dad thought it was going to be maybe a bit more glamorous than it was. Because when I said like, yeah, what do you guys think? I think I might go on tour with this band. And he was like, I don't know, like, how are you going to afford like the hotel rooms every night? And I was like, oh, I don't think we'll be staying in hotel rooms every night. I feel like he saw it as like, you know, where's all this money going to come from for you to go on this tour across the country? But we were sleeping on a lot of couches. There was a couple of hotel rooms, I think, not too many, but yeah, it didn't come out of my very barren checking account.
Yeah. Who did you guys tour with, or was that like were you headlining that tour, or?
That tour was a bit of a funny one. Every show was a bit of a mix. We weren't like touring with another band, so I feel like there were some places where we were opening for some people. I think a couple of the shows were headline shows, but it just feels like it was so long ago now.
Yeah. And that was just in Canada? That tour was just in Canada, or did you come to the U.S. in that tour?
That was just Canada.
Okay. And about
what
a
while,
year do you remember?
The US.
Was that,
Sorry, what was that?
Was that after they had put out? You said you went to their CD release show when they put out. Thank you.
I tried to go to the CD.
Oh yeah, you tried to go to. You weren't of age. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But when you did the tour with them, with the like, how quickly after that record came out did you guys tour? Like I'm trying to timeline here. Like, was that like their first tour that they ever had done to? Or had they already like established and toured a bit prior to you joining?
I think they had done a few tours before I joined. They did a run in the States with a band called Jukebox the Ghost.
Okay, yeah, I know who that band is.
Yeah, they're super nice guys. We've played with them a few times since.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the sweetest. But and also some runs in Canada. But I think that might have been one of the first times they had gone all the way out west, but I could be wrong.
Okay. And that tour that you did was just Canada, or was that the States also?
That tour was just Canada.
Okay. And then you guys were touring on that first album still?
Yeah, I think. Oh, wow. I could be totally wrong about this, but I think the record maybe came out in March. I'm going to look real bad if that's wrong. My own band, I don't know when the record came out. But,
the first one? The first?
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate Wikipedia is, but it says that it came out in February.
Oh, February. Okay, cool. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that is right.
Yeah, I don't know, because Wikipedia has failed me numerous times. Like a prime example is it told me that I interviewed the bass player from Sublime, and it said he was born in Alaska, and he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh,
wow."
But then I had to show him. I'm like, "Look, it says right here on Wikipedia that you." He's like, "That's wrong."
Well, that's good that you had something to point to.
Yeah, but anyway, so sorry. So that record came out in February, and you guys were touring in March, or you toured like when? I don't know.
We toured that summer. Like,
okay,
I think July or something.
Oh, okay.
But I am going to go to the Wikipedia article after this and edit it so it says March for the release date. Just full disclaimer. So yeah, the summer that the first album came out, we were touring.
That's cool. And then tell me about that tour. Like, did you know the guys kind of well at this point, or like how many interactions had you had with them as far as like practicing and playing before you had to get in, I'm guessing, a van to go around Canada with these guys?
I think we had maybe 2 rehearsals, and then we had one more once we were already on the road. So yeah, I think I'd talked to them a total of like maybe 4 times or something.
Oh, wow. And you hadn't played a live show with them yet?
We played one live show in Newmarket at the local pub.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the kickoff of the tour.
Oh, okay. How was that? Was that was that show nerve-wracking? Were you excited?
I think I was pretty nervous, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, because I guess there's the whole like not having that much time to rehearse, and then in the early days there's also that side of things where I was underage, so I wasn't technically supposed to be anywhere that we were playing.
Oh, sure.
So I was kind of paranoid about that as well. But looking back, it was all great, all groovy.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, then tell me, so from there, you did that first tour. It obviously went well. They asked you to join the band, and then what was the next, what happened next from there?
Well, I guess we probably started working on some new tunes after that, with some more tours kind of here and there.
Uh-huh.
We did a tour with a band called Born Ruffians. That was really sweet. Shortly after I joined, that was really fun. Yeah, then we made Play for Keeps.
Yeah.
Which came out in 2015, I think. I'm going to guess March for release date.
That one also says February, so you can edit it.
Does that one actually also say February?
It does. It says February 24th.
Holy shit.
That's funny.
And then a couple of years later, we made Beauty Community. I believe that came out in March as well.
October. Well, go back to Play for Keeps. So I want to. I'm curious. Did you start writing with the band when that album came out? Did you contribute to the songwriting of Play for Keeps?
Yeah, Matt and I worked on some lyrics together a lot on Play for Keeps, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I sing one song on that record, which was very. I always appreciated. I thought it was very nice of the guys to be open to bringing in another person in that kind of capacity, because I feel like, to say like, hey, we're looking for a bass player. And to have that person be like, hey, I also like to write songs and contribute in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I always appreciated that they were open to that, and it kind of gelled and evolved into a thing I think is fun.
Yeah,
so that was really cool. That was kind of the start of, I guess, me collaborating more.
Sure. Yeah. Instead of them just saying, "Oh no, man, I'm the main songwriter. I'm gonna write everything, and I'll just show you." I'll show you the chords and you can come up with your own bass line or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Especially when it's just like some kid who's like 4 years younger than you and who you don't know super well yet.
Yeah.
I thought it was very sweet. So yeah, that was a really fun time.
And were you nervous like, bringing that or asking them if you could write for them, or was it just kind of like it just kind of came about and you're like, oh, you know what, I write too, and they were like, oh, cool, like, let's collaborate, or did you have to kind of like be like, oh, I have this song, do you guys want to listen to, like, do you want to hear what I have? Like, how did you approach them with that idea?
From what I remember, and maybe Wikipedia can reflect on this in a bit of a better way. But I think at first it wasn't brought up super formally. I feel like it kind of just through like jamming a bunch of songs, we jammed a couple of mine. And then when we were making the record, I think at one point I checked in with Matt and was like, do you feel like it's chill to have like two different voices going on? Because I think there's also, at least in my mind, it was kind of a question of like, it would still feel like a cohesive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh yeah, I think it's great. And everybody's been super duper chill about it. So there was never a real like a round table discussion, but just very, very casual vibes.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Because sometimes you can hear, if you tried to join a band where they have one guy that writes all the songs and you want to be creative and contribute and get shut down, that might have, who knows if you would have still been playing with them or if you would have, started your own thing or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So were you guys signed to a record label with And I Thank You?
And I Thank You was self-release.
Okay.
And then Play for Keeps and Beauty Community were put out on this indie Canadian label called Hidden Pony.
Okay. And how did you guys?
And then
how'd you?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how did you get connected with them, and how did they? How'd you get signed to Hidden Pony Records?
Our manager Eric, great guy. Just a little quick shout out to him. Father of three. He started sending out some of the new music to some different people, and they were, wow, sorry, my memory sucks, but from what I remember, they were really the only ones who stood out as being like genuinely excited about the tunes. And they had like a ambition to them that I think we really appreciated. Because we were, having never worked with like a label before, we weren't really sure what to look for, but the fact that they seemed excited by the music was really cool.
Yeah. And then you guys signed with them, and then they put out the last two records, or Play for Keeps and Beauty Community. So you were with and because I know that you guys just put out a new track, and I noticed that you guys started your own label, Pink Eye Records, which is a rad name.
Yeah.
Pink Eye Pressing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying the name out loud.
Yeah, it's so good. I was like, oh, that's amazing. They were calling it Pink Eye Recording. That's so funny. Yeah, so you were with them for the two records, and did they help put you on tour, or did you said you had a manager at the time? Did they already have that manager when you joined the band?
Actually, Eric started working with the band around the same time I joined, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's been with the band for, I guess, like 8 years now or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had Eric in place. And then once we signed with Hidden Pony, that was the first time that we had ever had, like somebody help us put together a team. So they hooked up with a PR person and all that. And they sent a song out to radio. And that was the first time we had a song kind of do pretty well on Canadian radio, which was cool.
And that was,
yeah. And then
was that So Down Low?
That was So Down Low. Yeah.
Okay. So how was that? Like hearing your song on the radio for the first time? That must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was very cool. I think, obviously I feel like you make music to kind of get out your emotions and kind of explore that and express yourself creatively.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about music. But I think before that happened, I hadn't really thought a ton about what other people might take from it. So having a song kind of reach more of a wider group of people than maybe I thought or than I thought about, it was cool hearing people say that like they dug it or that it helped them in some small way or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it's a weird thing for me personally, because I don't really like to think about like how well a song is doing all that much. So there's a side of like, sending a song to radio or whatever that part of me just doesn't want to pay attention to that too much. But the thing that I think is kind of cool about it is when a song is able to kind of reach more people and help them in some kind of way. Not that radio is the only way to do that, obviously, now, because of the internet or whatever.
Yeah.
The internet or whatever. Carrier pigeons. But yeah, it was cool Sorry for the long-winded answer.
No. You remember hearing it for the first time when you were like driving around on the radio?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah,
I
it was
mean, that
sweet.
must have been pretty neat. Yeah, just being like, "Whoa, there's my song." I mean, it's kind of probably pretty reassuring that you guys are doing something right.
Yeah, totally.
And when that song just started doing well on radio, were you guys getting bigger shows, bigger tours?
I want to say yes. I'm trying to remember. Actually, I think Play for Keeps was like the first time that we did kind of like a headlining run where it really felt like people were coming out to see us. Like the first tour that I did with the band, there were some shows that was just like, oh, sorry. My mom just tried to call me.
I didn't hear it. It's all
Right
good.
to that point.
How dare you call me, Mom?
Mom, I'm busy right now. Yeah, I think on the headlining tour, or the Cross Canada tour I did when I first joined, there's kind of some shows that were just kind of like pub shows or bar shows or whatever, where you're kind of just playing to like whoever's there.
Yeah.
But I think on that tour we did for Play for Keeps, it kind of felt like more people were coming out to actually like see the band, and people were more familiar with the tunes, which was sweet.
That's cool. That's really cool. So after that record comes out, when was the first time that you toured in the United States, or outside of Canada, I should say?
On Play for Keeps, we did a couple tours to Europe and Japan, which was really sweet.
Wow.
And then we went to South by a couple times, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use a fake ID, but
Oh, wow.
luckily people in Austin didn't know what a Manitoba ID looked like.
I was going to ask. Yeah, so you had like a Canadian ID, and they probably were like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I remember we were in line to see, I think it was Tegan and Sarah, and then Macklemore played after them.
Oh, wow.
It was like right when that first song was starting to get really big for Macklemore.
Thrift Shop?
Thrift Shop? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were in this huge line, and I remember like being so nervous. I was like, "There's no way this is gonna work."
Yeah.
And the guys were like, "I think you'll be fine." And then I just passed the ID, and they were like, "Yeah, come on."
Wow.
So yeah, to anybody listening who's underage and wants to go to South by, just gotta take Canadian ID.
There you go. Yeah. It'll work every time you want to see Tegan and Sarah with Macklemore.
Yeah, which I feel like they probably play together pretty often.
Or was Tegan and Sarah a pretty big thing in Canada? I mean, they're a big thing everywhere, but are they? Did you go see them just to support a Canadian band, or it just happened to be that's who was playing that day?
The other guys knew this guy who was playing keys with them at the time. And then I was really just like, I'll go wherever.
Right.
But it was a great show from what I remember. Macklemore climbed the rafters. And it was very tight and sweaty and classic South by show.
Nice. Yeah. So when you joined the band after high school, were you working at all? Like, or did you work like a, whatever high school job at the time, or like when were you able to just not have to focus on anything aside from playing music in the band? Was it right away?
It was basically right away. I had a job in high school working at do you guys have Moore's clothing for men in the U.S.? Or is that just a Canadian thing?
I think it's just Canadian. They not here in California, at least. I don't know of one. Just like a department store or something.
It's like a square kind of suit store.
Okay.
The slogan was, "You're gonna like the way you look."
Oh yeah, we do have that. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah, because I remember that guy.
Yeah, that's sweet dude.
I want to say that it's called More. I want to say it was called something else here.
Ooh, I wonder if they have.
I think
kinda
it's
like
called-
a American.
Yeah, because the guy in the commercial was, I don't think it was called that, but that I remember the tagline. I remember the commercials.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive. after
Yeah. So
this.
you worked there?
Yeah, but the band I played in high school, we had a show one day. I had a shift, and so I went in and I was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna quit," because I also just didn't really like working there. And the manager was like, "Okay, but you're gonna come in for that last shift, right?" And he was kind of like maybe had a bit of a grumpy old man energy to him.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, sorry, Doug, if you're listening. And I was like, no, actually, that's part of the reason why I'm quitting. My band is playing a show that day. And I don't know what it was, but he turned into the brightest, happiest man I had ever seen. He was like, oh, really? That's sick. He was like, good for you, man. And it was an incredible experience. I never loved quitting something so much.
That's so funny.
I wish he had liked me that much when I worked there. But so yeah, by the time I had joined the Elwins, that was done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were all lucky enough to have like our parents to live with. So like rent wasn't a concern or anything.
Yeah.
So I was
good.
basically to just focus on music.
That's awesome. What's the store called in Canada that you worked at?
Moore's Clothing for Men.
Moore's Clothing for Men. So here in the States, it was called Men's Warehouse.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And it was the same guy. You'll like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Sick.
Interesting. I was like, I got to figure this out. Yeah, Men's Warehouse is what it's called here. That's interesting to have it's the same everything, except for it's just a different name up there. Very cool.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. Beauty Community came out a few years ago. And tell me about that record. Were you do you sing on it more? Did you get to be involved more in the writing process on that album than Play for Keeps?
Yeah, that one was interesting. I wrote more and sang more songs on it, but that one, it kind of felt, I feel like we maybe felt a bit of pressure to get something out quickly. Not from anybody or anything, just kind of like self-imposed.
Okay.
So there was less like jamming, all four of us, and it was more like, oh, Matt has a song, or oh, Frankie has a song, and then we just go into the studio with our producer, and we'd all work on it together. So that one, for me personally, I feel like I kind of missed a bit of that more collaborative jam energy. Not that we're a jam band, not like Grateful Dead or Fish or anything.
Right. But just not just going in with
weren't quite long enough. But so yeah, we did that record, and it was really sweet because I feel like there's still some people who have come up and been like, oh, this song on that record, I really like, it really helped me. And I think that helps me because even though maybe I didn't personally have the greatest experience creatively making that, I feel like those are always nice reminders that that's just like my perspective of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that other people's are probably different, even other people in the band. So yeah, we did that record and then we toured it. And then after that, we kind of started having discussions about like musically where we wanted to go next. Cause we also tried some more different things on that record. And then we started kind of talking about what we feel like is like uniquely Elwins and what we feel like we do best. And that's kind of when the new tunes started kind of coming into play.
Okay. After Beauty Community?
Yeah.
Okay.
BC.
Okay. So that
Before Christ.
Is that so? You're saying the newer stuff has that after you guys sat down and were like, okay, we should go in this direction. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So but the latest song that you guys just put out, very recently, that's on your own label. So did you guys just wash your hands of the Canadian indie you were on, Hidden Pony? Did you guys or are you still signed to them? Like, how did that kind of unfold?
Was the wash your hands thing, was that COVID-19 pun?
Oh no, I just meant are you you guys just went separate ways? I didn't even put that together.
Yeah,
You have to be so much more careful now with people sensitive to COVID-19.
yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Sorry, I'm just goofing today.
No, I love it.
Yeah, we were kind of, the more we thought about it, we were like, what do we want to do? Because we kind of talked about looking for a U.S. label around the time of Beauty Community, but we were contracted to do another record with Hidden Pony, so it didn't work out. Sorry if this is too inside baseball or anything.
Oh, no, not at all. I love it.
But then after that experience, between talking to people outside of the band and talking as a band, we were kind of like, well, what do we want to do? Because we felt like we felt really confident in what we were doing, and we shopped around the new tunes a little bit, but we were kind of like, if nobody's gonna seem that interested off the bat, we don't want to wait around forever to release it, because it had already been a while since Beauty Community.
Mm-hmm.
And then some labels we talked to, one was a friend of ours, and he said, to be honest, I like the music, but really, I don't think I could do much for you guys that you couldn't do for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to just start your own label, especially because in Canada there's so many grants for arts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's so awesome that they do that.
Yeah, it's cuckoo bananas. So yeah, with that, so we decided to do that, and so far, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks since we put out this new single, but
yeah,
it's been really nice being able to put together a team and be able to choose kind of what territories we want to focus in and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And so far it's been great.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have total creative control and total control over everything if you're just doing it yourselves.
Yeah, and we get to name a label after a disease where you get shit in your eye.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I've never felt so creatively free.
That's awesome. So the new song is called Take Me All the Way. I love the video.
Yeah.
It's got that
thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are all it's super dark. It's got that really old feel to it. Those old pictures of a person looking forward and then a small version of them looking to the side and the corner. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah. What was it?
Sick.
What was the story behind the video for that song? You just guys.
Our friend Wyatt Clow, he's a very talented, beautiful boy. He also shot the cover for the record that's coming out later this year.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to you about that too. That's cool.
Sick. But yeah, we kind of were talking for references for the album cover. We were feeling a lot of 60s and 70s kind of older album covers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wyatt had the idea to kind of have the music video to try to capture that kind of energy of a moving album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel there's a lot of covers back then where you kind of just see the band in a kind of a purgatory, just blank space, floating heads or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel there's a lot of that. So that's kind of what we were going for. But I really like the kind of like portraits that you're referencing.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. It's awesome.
I like that reference a lot.
I like how also on the logo, the maroon logo, where it like at the bottom it says like hi-fi stereo 246. Like it looks like an old like Beatles 7-inch or something, like with just that vibe to it.
Oh, sick. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really the design of everything is rad. So is this? You said you have a record coming out, so I'm assuming you have more songs than just the one that you guys have released so far.
Yeah, we have a full record of 13 songs. We haven't said what the title is going to be yet, but it's going to be coming out this fall.
Okay, exciting.
At least that's the plan. I guess it's kind of a crazy world we live in right now.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah. Did you have a plan as far as like an idea of when you were going to put the record out and like have a tour and all this thing set up before COVID?
Yeah.
To that kind of throw a wrench in
right before the song was supposed to come out, we were going to do, we were going to fly to a bunch of different stations across Canada to kind of like premiere the song, I guess. And then on starting April 5th, or I think it was April 5th, yeah, we were supposed to start a tour in the States with Jukebox the Ghost.
Okay.
And that was supposed to be like a 3-week long tour. So then all that got canceled. And then we kind of were talking and we were like, do we still want to put this out? Like, is it weird to promote something right now? Like, is that selfish, or is it better to just like be creative and put things out into the world? We were kind of having discussions like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been talking about, there's a tour planned for the fall. But that's also kind of up in the air. Our booking agent sent us some more dates today. And like yesterday, I was reading an article where it was like, oh, live music or sporting events may not come back till like fall 2021.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that yesterday too, or the other day.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh?
I know. It's I've been seeing quite a few things that I'm like, really? Like they were talking about how the guy that I don't know who they're showing up on TV in Canada, but like this Fauci guy, Dr. Fauci is like the big US guy. He was saying that he can't see anybody, getting together as far as like sports or any of that stuff until 2022.
Wow.
Which is like, yeah. And I think it's only because he said that there isn't a vaccine yet and people will have to, to slow it down, people will have to be vaccinated before before people are going to be able to congregate in like massive groups and stuff. But I guess we'll see.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's very strange. Even just for like mental health, I feel like so many people, I've been talking to some friends of mine who live in the city, who just live by themselves. And I was like, wow, that must be so tough right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Especially like, I mean, I know here in the States, like New York is like a huge, like it's like the hot spot for us.
Right.
And like,
yeah.
And especially in New York City. And I can't imagine like a lot of those people are just going to be stuck in like these super small studio apartments with nowhere to go and nothing. I mean, it's such a condensed area to be. And with it being so horrible there, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, we're in San Diego and we live in like the suburb part of San Diego. So we can go outside kind of, and walk around and at least get fresh air, as these people in New York are like, I mean, they can't even go outside.
Right. Yeah. Did I hear that in New York you have to wear a mask now to go outside? Is that true? Or did I make that up?
No, that's true. Actually, in California as well, you have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you're outside, you have to be wearing a mask. I don't think they're gonna really enforce it yet. They enforced it like if you are a service worker or if you're like a UPS driver, if you're a mail guy or whatever, like you have to wear one all the time. But they're saying that you have to be in a mask if you're outside, but they haven't started like fining people yet. I don't think. But like everything's shut down. It's crazy. Like the beaches, everything is closed. Just wild.
It's so strange.
Yeah, man.
I'm curious to see how different people are gonna deal with it. Like, if that's just like what needs to be done for things to get better, for like concerts or sporting events to not be a thing for a while. It's an interesting idea. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, I know. I did see that. I forgot what country. I just saw it. That a country in Europe was doing like Zoom, like Zoom nightclubs. It was bizarre. Like you could and you'd like pay, and you pay to get in this room, and like I don't know, you dance in your I don't know. Like I don't understand how it would even work. But like that was a thing like that they're gonna do. So I guess it's just a matter of time before they figure something out. I'm sure Facebook or Instagram or whatever is gonna figure out a way to make some money off all these live streams that people are doing.
Right. Yeah.
Have you guys done one? I've seen some pictures on your Instagram and Facebook page where it looks like you guys were jamming together, but have you done like a live stream or anything like that?
Yeah, we've done a handful. It's a lot have come up because I guess it's just kind of the new norm. But Feurd and I did one the other day. A couple years ago, we started this thing called Frankie and Feurd's Valentine's Day live stream dinner.
Oh, okay.
We would do it on Valentine's Day because we were both dateless. But we would just do a live stream and have dinner and play some tunes for people. But we missed it this year because we were on tour with a band called the High Divers.
Okay.
So we redid it the other day. We called it Quarantine's Day.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was it was fun to have something to do. But yeah, we've done a couple more. We did one on Audio Tree yesterday. I was talking with my friend Laura the other day, and she was like, "Everybody's doing these live streams lately. Like, enough of these goddamn live streams." And I was like, "I'm doing it tomorrow if you want to tune in."
That's cool though. I like it. I think they're rad, and I hope that artists keep doing this after. Or I mean, hopefully there'll be an after all this kind of blows over, because it's rad to be able to see, some of your favorite artists performing in, whether if they're big enough, in their home studio or whatever, or smaller bands like in their living room. You're actually, it's almost like a more intimate experience, aside from the fact that you're not seeing them live in person. But like, if you did a live stream, you'd be like, where, in your living room or whatever. It's pretty cool to kind of have that behind the curtain look into some of your favorite artists, like daily lives, almost like a day, where they live and what they have going on and stuff.
Wow, thank you. I love your positive vibes, Adam. I'm gonna take that voice clip and send it to my friend.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I think it's cool. Like I feel like it's almost more of an intimate experience because, you would never know what your house looked like on the inside if you didn't share the video. If you were the Elwins' biggest fan and you go to see you guys all the time, and you would never know what you guys do at your house, and like just the I love it, like the spontaneity of it, and the fact that you can kind of just do whatever you want on the fly, and you're in your own element, and people are just kind of experiencing that with you. I think that's really rad.
Wow, dude, you're lightening up my life right now. This is sick.
I appreciate that. Well, hopefully you guys will do another live stream soon. Do you have anything scheduled?
Not right now, but I think we got emailed about one today. I just haven't looked at it yet.
Okay.
But I was feeling so self-conscious about it after I talked to my friend Laura, but now I'm gung ho about it again.
Do it. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think you should do it. Have you played your song live yet? The new one?
Yeah, the tour we did in the States just before all this happened with the High Divers, we were testing out a bunch of new tunes, which was really fun.
Oh, cool.
And then we've performed it on some live streams. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll perform it live again someday.
Yeah, totally. When you played here in the States, have you ever came down to San Diego? Or probably just LA?
Yeah, I don't think we've been to San Diego yet. On that, on the routing we got today, San Diego was on it for the fall. So we may be coming there if this tour happens. But
oh, that's cool.
yeah, if we
I
make
wonder
it
where
out
you're
there,
going to play.
I'll drop you a line.
Yeah, I wonder where you're going to
Yeah,
play.
I think I could look at the email.
Yeah, I'll take this out, and because I don't want to spoil your guys' releases and stuff. But I'm very curious to see where you're going to play here in San Diego because we're going to go.
Where is it here? Casbah?
Casbah. That's the best venue in the whole city.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, I mean it's like iconic venue. It's about 250, 300 person. It's a bar. It's like a dive bar, but it's just got this just historic like feel to it. I mean, like Nirvana played there and White Stripes and like bands
really?
like huge bands before they really broke. But this venue it's so cool. I mean, it's definitely the best hands down the best venue in San Diego.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to that show for sure. Hopefully it happens, and once all this crap blows over, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's rad. That's definitely something for us to look forward to too, because that's cool that you guys are playing there. Definitely my favorite.
Yeah. What
spot.
is the music scene like in San Diego?
I'm sorry.
What is the music scene like in San Diego? Like, are there lots of shows to go to there? Is there like a big local scene?
There are, yeah. There's a big scene here. There's a lot of venues. I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of all-age venues, but they've done a great job of opening up quite a few. Like we have a House of Blues here that has 2 rooms. One of like a bigger room that's like 1,100, and the small room I think is like 2, maybe not even, maybe 100. Or 200. But then there's a place called the Observatory, which is a bigger 1,200 cap, like all ages. So there's a lot of places to play, and there's a lot of like different dive bars and stuff that do music all the time. So there's a pretty good music scene here. I mean, there's been a lot of.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, like Blink 182 came from here, and we have like Switchfoot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Switchfoot and POD and I don't know, Jason Mraz. So there's a scene here for sure. I mean, it's not LA, that's for sure. It's like a very calmed down version of Los Angeles.
I mean, that sounds pretty nice.
But the Casbah's cool, and it's like I said, I'm not the only one that thinks that it's the best venue in San Diego. So, and people are just there. It doesn't matter who's playing. It's cool. It's that cool that people just will just go just to go. So it's that type of venue.
That rules.
Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one more question for you, if that's cool with you, if you have time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Ooh. Advice for aspiring artists. I think a lot of people say it, but I think it's also just very true. I think trusting your gut is always a good bet, because I also feel like your kind of gut reaction and your take on things is also what makes you unique and kind of gives you what might be your personal edge. it makes you different from other artists or other people. So I think trusting your gut is great, but then also being open to, if you're in a band, like collaborators and collaboration. Because I also think there's a ton of value in things that you might not think of. And yeah, I think obviously not including the current situation, but I think it's a really exciting time to be an artist because, you know, more than ever, I feel like it's a level playing field with, you know, people finding artists online, streaming and all that, that the kind of traditional way of doing things maybe doesn't hold the same power that it used to. So I feel like keeping in mind that any goals you may have are probably achievable if you stick with it and, you know, trust the old gut.